All right, we are here with the head coach of the Longview Lobos, John King. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Uh, Trying to beat this wet bulb. I guess that's the talk, biggest topic we talk about now.
Well, yeah, tell me about it. How is that going dealing with this wet bulb technology? How is
I
that?
think our kids have held up well to all of it. It's just another thing to work through. But if it's a safety issue, a safety feature, then I think it's good for the game. But it's nice if you have an indoor, which ours is in the process of being built. So we won't have this problem much longer after this year.
That's right. Next year in a few years you'll be able to be in that indoor. Well, let's talk a little bit about last season. I know it was a strange season for you overall. You coached that opener against Lufkin, and then dealt with some things off the field last season. How was that for you? Just take me back through that whole year for you not being able to kind of be on the sidelines last year.
Well, it was a rough year for me personally, and I felt for the kids. I mean, it's not that I would have made a difference, but I just enjoy being around and doing my part to try to help them, be successful. Just not on the field, but in the everyday walk of life. But 2025 wasn't real good to me when it started. But lost my father, then I got diagnosed with mouth cancer, and missed about a month of the season, and came back uh, and I coached, from the press box, but I was not myself at practice games or whatever. I did the best I could, but I'm feeling better now and look forward to the challenge of getting back out on the field and helping the Lobos get back where they need to be. We lost 4 games by 11 points last year in regular season, and wound up getting third in district, which hurt us as far as our seeding for playoffs. And we win a couple of those games, we may have a different feel about our season, but 7-5 is not good enough by our standards, and we got to do things to correct that.
Well, how much did I know you said obviously not being on the sidelines was and first and foremost, coach, we're happy to see you back healthy and again, and that's the biggest thing. But you talked about not being on the sidelines. Was it different for you? Did you get a different kind of viewpoint and learn maybe a couple of different things sitting in the press box and watching from up there?
I learned though, I got frustrated. I love the view. I love the ability to be up there and see all 11 players and how people line up and things we got to do to fix. I mean, I catch it pretty good, like watching game tape, but communicating to the sideline was the frustrating part to me. I mean, I wanted to, just not the coaches, those officials. I felt like they didn't quite hear what I was trying to tell them. But it was different, but challenging, and you got a newfound respect for what the guys do in the press box for you because with the new technology we were able to use, that was beneficial. Being able to go back and watch it immediately after each series and see how they were playing. So just tried to make the most of it. But I still feel like I belonged on the sideline, just from the organizational standpoint of it and decision making and all those things. But I thought Coach Wilson did an outstanding job as the interim head coach and did everything we asked him to do, and the other coaches filled their roles as well. So, uh, it's just one of those years that didn't go our way. And, you can point fingers in a lot of directions. You can lay blame here or make an excuse here. We're not going to make any. We didn't get it done. We got to find a way to get it done.
Well, and you brought up that earlier, the four losses that by 11 points in the regular season. It was just tight games back and forth. What's been the focus this offseason of finishing those contests where you're on the winning side of those games and not on the short end of the stick there?
Well, finding a way to get those inches, those yards that you didn't get last year to make a difference. Hold on to the football. We fumbled the ball away against Forney at home a couple of times in the red zone. Had 2 scoring drives inside the 15. We didn't get any points on. We fumbled the ball away on the last play of the game. We're up 21 at North Point because, at half, and we blow that lead and get beat by a point because we missed an extra point. We can't tackle anybody in the second half. And we just did things that were not typical for the Lobo football team. Uh, just get back to the basics. And so what we did during the offseason, we made the main thing the main thing. That was focusing on the Lobos. Everything we did, we worried about us. Ain't worried about what everybody else did. And they worried about what we didn't do. And I think our kids understand that. But we have 32 letterman back, 10 returning starters. Quarterback will be a 3-year starter for us, so you have experience in the right places. It's a matter of building the chemistry, getting the team to gel. I've been a part of these teams where you have good players coming back, but you don't have good chemistry, and it never works the way you expect it to. And then been a part of these teams where you have average players coming back, and you have great chemistry, and then you have a magical season. So, this year's still to be determined.
Well, and I want to ask you. You mentioned the six starters on offense and the four on defense coming back. I know you've talked about Jaden Herndon at nauseum before about how good of a receiver he is. So when you match up Herndon with Trey Hamilton at quarterback, and then on your defensive side you got Lawson Tubb leading in on there. Talk about the leadership that you have on this team that to lead the Lobos this season.
Well, we've got great players in key spots. Are they going to be great leaders? That's what I'm talking about. It's to be determined. Just because you were a great player last year, or you were in a leadership role last year, doesn't mean that you just automatically, going to do it the next. It's buy-in and it's commitment. And I've been a part of these teams for those guys that are coming back, and you got guys. We got some guys that are 3-year starters. If they get complacent and they don't lead in the right way, we're not going to be a very good football team. We're not going to attain to the level that we aspire to attain to, and uh, that's what I'm saying. It's the chemistry. That's the magic, is getting the kids to buy in and care about one another, which our kids grew up wanting to be Lobos, and this is their time to shine. But we have pieces to the puzzle. Now we got to put it together, and we got to keep it together. But as you mentioned, Herndon, tremendous player. Trey Hamilton had a great year last year, and 20-something touchdowns, one pick. Lawson Tubbs led us in tackles. You got Tyson Johnson back, 3-year starter in D line. Jaden Jackson, 3-year starter in the offensive line. Those guys need to be leaders. They need to find ways to gel this football team. It doesn't need to be coach led; it needs to be player led.
Talk to me about this district. I know it didn't change very much. You added Mesquite Horn into the district, but other than that, everybody else kind of came back to you. So, talk to me about this district and just how competitive it is week in and week out.
It's going to be good from top to bottom. I think there's some teams that get in the playoffs last year that are going to be hungry and that are going to be much better because they got a bunch of players back. Tyler Legacy, Royce City, Rockwall High. All three of those guys missed the playoffs, but they got a bunch back, and they're a play here, a play there from competing for one of those spots. And you add Mesquite Horn to it, so they're always talented. They got a new coach, a new direction there, but they've always been one of the most talented football teams we've ever played. Then you got Forney, North Forney, Rockwall Heath. So it's an 8-team league, and it's anybody's league to win. The most important thing for us, like I tell the kids, we're going to have small goals along the way. We're going to try to have a winning record. Our goal is to have a winning record in non-district and have a winning record in district. Hopefully that puts us in the postseason, and it turns into a one-game season. But we don't need to be working now looking at the end. We need to be working now looking where we're at and trying to build to the end.
Well, tell me about the what you think in your mind is the biggest strength of this team this year. Maybe it's a position group or a side of the ball. Where do you think the biggest strength for the Lobos is this year?
Well, there's a couple. I mean, we're good at the skill spot. We got depth in the offensive line. We got a couple of good quarterbacks that we can play. I feel comfortable with those guys. And defensively, I think our front six. I mean, our weak spot's going to be the youth in the secondary, and that's just because they're young. Has nothing to do with their talent level, but they got to grow up. They got to be thrown in the fire. And the thing about it is they're talented. They're gonna have to learn how to have a short memory because it's just going to have growing pains. That's part of it. But we got to find the right mix. We got to find the right 11, get on offense and defense, and be sound in our kicking game.
Well, Coach, before I let you get out of here, I do have to ask you about your son Haynes. Now, I want to take you back to that Hall of Fame game. I was watching it. I was in California at Cowboys camp, so I had it on the TV in the hotel, and I think I may have woke up the neighbors or something at the end of that game because I got so excited. So I can only imagine what was going through your head. But take me back to that game and watching him in the Hall of Fame game, and then just talk to me about how proud you are of him right now.
I'm extremely proud of my son. I'm proud of who the player he is and the person that he is. And I'm proud of the fact he grew up playing East Texas football, basketball, track, baseball. He's an East Texas kid through and through, and he represents every one of us. And he has a lot of fond memories, of all the coaches in East Texas. And I know we're playing Lufkin this week, but John Outlaw and Todd Quick made an impression on my son, just like I did as his father. He thought the world of them. But when that boy plays, he plays for East Texas. He plays for the Lobos. He plays the name on the back of his jersey, and it means something to him. And that's what I'm most proud of. And I did get ecstatic when he put that ball in the end zone. I told the man in front of me when they started to drive, I said, "Let me tell you something. What's going to happen?" He said, "Put the ball in the end zone somehow, so get ready," and he did. And what a great ending! But he's Lobo Nation through and through.
Well, it was a joy to watch. You're right. And as soon as they got the ball under 2 minutes to go, I said, "We've seen Haynes do this plenty of times. I've already seen this story play
You've
out
seen
plenty of
it, huh?
times."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I'm glad he was able to get it done, and got to get healthy. We'll see what happens after that. But like I tell our kids, one game don't make you, and one game don't break you. You better stack them on top of one another. So he better get back out there soon